Don Mazzella here, once again for Small Business Digest. And we have a very interesting guest with us from the UK, Tom Oswald. He's president and CEO of a company we should all know about. Tom, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Tom, as we ask all our guests, tell us a little bit about yourself, then a little bit about your company, and finally a website.
So obviously you've introduced my name. I started when I started engineering at 11, rebuilt my first car at 14. I had 9 patents by the time I was 24. I've had record labels, radio stations, worked in oil and gas, very heavily involved in hydraulic systems and the beer dispense system and so on, beer industry and so on and so on. And ended up with a video platform, or founding a video platform in 2014 and pivoting that to our current photography platform, ClickerSnap, in 2016. And today we have about 45 million visitors and 2.5 million signed up users.
Wow. And your website?
Is clickersnap.com, which is CLICKASNAP.com.
Okay. Well, my first question naturally is, what is ClickerSnap all about?
It's all about introducing a monetization system for photography. So whereas musicians have Spotify for audio, videographers have YouTube for video, there is no means of making money with photography outside of direct photo sales, e.g. stock photography or trying to sell your photos as products. When you're competing in those areas, there is an unlimited amount of photos available because anyone can take photos these days. And with modern technology, modern apps and things, making a photograph that looks really, really good actually is surprisingly easy to do. And so we are, with photography, very much how music was prior to the introduction of Spotify, where people were giving away audio songs as much as possible for exposure and to get their likes and views. And piracy was rampant. Anyone could take any photo at any audio stream at any time. And we're very similar with photography in that if someone wants a photo online, they just screenshot it and then they can do whatever they want with it. There is nothing you can do about it. If they want to try and make money from it, the only way they can make money from it is try and get their photos into a stock photography site, or set up a account on somewhere like Redbubble or Fine Art America, which is going to take 30 or 40% of your sales and put huge margins in just the product cost anyway. And the odds of you being able to sell any to outside friends and family is pretty low. In fact, probably orders of 1 in hundreds of thousands for every person who's signing up to sell these photos. With our platform, anyone who signs up can upload their content and they can make something back from their photos without having to rely on sales, without having to try and drive sales, without having to rely on stock photography. Our platform monetizes imagery by using a very, very similar system to what Spotify and audio do. And we monetize imagery just when people look at it. So every time someone looks at your image, you get paid micropayments. It's not a huge amount of money that you get per view. So don't go on the platform expecting to get paid £2 or £3 every time someone looks at your photo. But you are going to, as you add up photos and as your views accumulate, those small sums become quite large sums. In fact, quite a lot of our users regularly cash out hundreds and hundreds of pounds per month just from having their photos looked at.
So if I have a bunch of photos, I load them up there, and in effect, with all your visitors, some money is bound to stick. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the higher the quality of the photos, the more people that look at them, the more people share them, because our platform isn't just a monetization system. It accumulates a whole load of different businesses that currently photographers and image creators have to use to get their photos out there. So there's 5 or 6 different businesses they have to use. We have all of that under one platform. we also have algorithm-free feeds. So we have a feed in the platform, which is similar to Facebook's feed, but there's no algorithms that control it. So everyone that you follow, you will see their posts. And every time you post, they will see your posts. We're trying to move away. Not only are we trying to monetize or give a monetization stream for image creators, we're trying to move away from the toxic culture that is social media, where large corporates control what you see based on their advertising revenue.
Well, how do you compare to Getty's images and the Microsoft versions?
We don't. We're not a stock imagery site.
Explain. I guess I'm a little confused. What's the difference between a stock and what you do?
A stock imagery site is where you are putting imagery specifically to sell to industry for books, blogs, websites, whatever. Our site is a social media site that enables users to have their content, to earn money for their content just from views. So we are nothing like a stock imagery site. We are introducing an aspect of our site which will allow our users to sell their products as stock photography, but our core ethos is not a stock photography site. They are
Please continue. Look, hey, you're totally new to me, so and I'm sure to a lot of our audience. So I'm curious. If I go on your site and go pour through your images, as I do that, I get charged for it, or
no. See, that's the beauty of the platform, is that I'm assuming you use YouTube. When you go through YouTube and you watch videos on there, the people whose videos you are watching are earning money off of your browsing of the platform because advertising is being shown to you. Our platform is the same. So when you are browsing our platform, if you're not an uploader, you do not have to pay to use the platform. You do not have to pay to use the photo, to look at the photos. We run advertising against the photos and arbitrage our data costs against the, and then the remaining is left to pay the creator of that image.
Okay. Well, that's a win-win for both sides then.
Absolutely, which is why it's a very popular website.
But I've not heard about you until your people sent me a little note about you. How long have you been in business? And tell us a little bit more about your company.
So the company that owns Clickersnap was actually founded in 2014. I had a record label back then, a couple of radio stations, and it was a fairly big independent label. And YouTube were going to bring out something called YouTube Red, which was going to literally destroy the independent music industry. I won't go into the legal complications, but if you're a listener and interested, Google YouTube Red and you can find out why. Anyway, I like big projects, and I saw this as an opportunity to be one of the biggest projects I'd ever taken on. So I got a load of money and put a team together, and we built a platform that was called Vidscape. And Vidscape was a video platform. And the ethos being is that we paid content creators the same as YouTube does. But there was the caveat was, of course, we weren't owned by Google, and there was like a big, YouTube was creating a big stigma with this YouTube Red for musicians to go somewhere else. So of course, what we wanted to produce was a platform where someone else could go. And so if YouTube Red continued, there was an escape route for those artists and any other video content creators. And we ran Vidscape for roughly 2 years, during which we gained up to about 500,000 users. And then YouTube Red was dropped because of all of the backlash. So obviously at that point, we basically had lost our USP. And the only option we had two options, is quit or pivot. And as an amateur photographer myself, I actually thought if we could do what we were doing with video, in other words, we were allowing the upload, uploading the storage, compressing it, and distributing it extremely efficiently, then, and videos being sort of 50, 60 megabyte, up to hundreds and hundreds of megabytes of videos, then we sure as hell could do it with photographs, which can often only be a couple of megabytes and compressed down to a couple of kilobytes when it is streamed across the internet. And if we could do that, we could then monetize imagery in a way that it had never been done before, and allow content creators to actually get money from their images for views. Now, we did this, and about 3 months later, a company called Naomi, which was funded by Peter Thiel to the tune of several $1 million, actually tried to copy us, and they went bust within 8 weeks. Building a platform that monetizes imagery, the actual building of the platform isn't that difficult. It's the psychology and the fraud aspects that become very, very challenging for a platform that is allowing you to monetize imagery, where all you have to do is look at the image. So obviously YouTube get around it because they have separate ad channels per YouTube channel. And of course, you have to watch a YouTube video and click on an ad to make revenue. And Google has very, very sophisticated tracking systems to prevent fraud there. Spotify, you have to listen to a track for at least 30 seconds before you can, before that individual gets a micro payment. For us, for a photo sharing platform, of course, that was a whole different kettle of fish. We just couldn't you can't say you need to watch a video for 30 seconds, a photo for 30 seconds, and we don't have Google's ads network, so we couldn't monitor ads in the way they do. So the way the platform was structured was done in such a way that it filtered out poor quality content. So if you upload a load of spam web content onto our platform, you won't get any views, or if you do get any views, they won't register as paid views. If you upload high quality content, then the way people behave on those images will then register it as a paid view. So our platform, whilst anyone can make money whilst uploading their photography, it is designed to discourage spam and poor quality content and encourage high quality content. So that was obviously that was a big technical issue that we had to overcome. We're still, and more as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, more people try and find different ways around this, obviously, and we pick them up, filter them out, and add them to our algorithms. And then, of course, we pivoted to photography in 2016, and we probably increased the website size by several thousand% every year for 4 years. Yeah, so it's been staggering growth, and then the last year has absolutely exploded. I mean, last year we turned over 5 digits in revenue. This year we're going to close on 7 digits in revenue. So it's been phenomenal growth.
Well, Tom Oswald, tell us your website again for our audience, and how people can upload their own photos.
It's clickersnap.com. Just Google it. It's the easiest way. Even if you misspell it, Google tells you how it is. And yeah, you can just sign up and you can upload your own photos.
So again, you slow down a little bit because I didn't hear it. Your website again, and people get
is clickasnap.com.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I see a photo on your I go on there and look, and I see a photo I like. I can download it and use it, or
no, only if the person who's uploaded it allows you to do that.
And if you do you then pay that person, or
it's up to them? We don't charge any commissions on sales other than the transaction commission that PayPal or credit card companies charge. So a lot of users put images up for free because they just want them to give them away. A lot of users put them up and sell them. And of course, we actually have thousands and thousands of products on there. So if people wish to sell their imagery as key rings, cups, t-shirts, cards, whatever, then they can do that, and they can set their own prices as well. They have their own shops to do that. So And of course, we have a very, very wide range of features on that platform. And the platform is currently undergoing a complete rebuild, which we will hope to be finished by December. So if you look at it now, it doesn't really look fantastic. It works, it's functional, and it's a minimum viable product. And come December, we expect the new website to be launched, which will be orders of magnitude better than what we currently have.
So, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying also if I want to sell cups, etc., that's also going to be available.
It's already available,
But
and it's all so you don't have to do anything. You just put your product up for sale, sell it, and then we do all the printing and distributing to your client.
well, I almost wish. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to really look at your site outside of the first page before we met. But you can rest assured when we finish this show, I'm going to go look at it. It sounds almost like it's a little eBay. It's not intended to be, is it?
I wouldn't put eBay there, no, but it does have. I mean, we as I said, we contain the features of multiple websites that image creators would currently have to use. So currently, obviously, if you were selling your photos, you'd be using Redbubble or Fine Art America. Sharing your photos, you're using Instagram, Facebook, 500px, Petapixel, Flickr, etc. Marketing your photos, you use Hootsuite or Social Sprout, which will cost you up to £100 a month. Our product, our system, our website automatically plugs into your Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest accounts, and then shares your content every 24 hours, every 8 hours, every whatever you choose. So it's scheduled posting across your social media accounts. We also have the ability, of course, on the higher level accounts where actually you can subscribe to a user, and every time that user uploads your emails, it is a very, very feature set platform. Oh, and of course, we're the only platform in the world that actually prevents the print screen button working as well on PCs. So stealing imagery on our platform is harder than it is on any other platform out there today.
It almost seems as if you could also become but you don't service the account. If I sell a product, I have to pack it up and send it.
No. We do all of that.
Really?
Yep.
It sounds as if you're working your way into being an eBay or an Amazon.
Amazon would be an appropriate thing, yeah.
Well, it certainly needs competition.
Yeah, we're way behind yet.
Well, I guess the next step, I'm a small business, which is what our audience is. Where can you help a small business?
As in advice or as in my platform?
As into your platform.
So if you're a small business and you are using social media for marketing, you're probably working very, very hard to try and get people to view your content to get around Facebook, as an example, Facebook's algorithms. So if you have a Facebook page, for example, most small businesses do, let's say you've got 1,000 likes, the engagement on your audience will be less than 1%. That's 10 people who will see a post that you post up. Let's say you do something that's absolutely fantastic. If you're lucky, you might see 100 people, but you are putting a phenomenal amount of effort into trying to get around Facebook's algorithms. Our website doesn't have that. So if you're following 1,000 people are following you and you post something, all 1,000 of those people, assuming they're on the platform, will see that post. And that is one of the strongest arguments that we have to use our platform, is there's no algorithms. There's nothing controlling what you see. And if you've got 1 million followers, 1 million people can see your post. It suddenly becomes a very, very powerful marketing platform. And even our audience, I mean, okay, our audience is a fraction of Facebook's, but if you factor it in that every 1,000 likes on Facebook is the equivalent of 10,000, in fact, 100,000, sorry, I've got that the wrong way around. Every 1,000 followers on our platform has the same reach as 100,000 likes on Facebook gives you, assuming the likes on Facebook are even real, of course.
But how do you generate your followers?
Just upload good quality content. If you're a small business that takes photos and produces high quality, produces products, take good quality photos of their products and upload them. People will follow you if they find it interesting. As a podcaster, take up good quality, upload photos of things that interest you, and then put a link to your podcast underneath it. It's primarily an image sharing platform, but just because it is an image sharing platform doesn't mean that other businesses can't use that platform for their own ends. And of course, the audience behind it. And then, of course, the more of you that join it, the more people you'll reach. And eventually you could end up taking out Facebook.
It's exciting. It's exciting, and I'm glad you came on the show.
Thank you.
Um, I guess at this point, um, you say good quality will generate uh, uh, followers, but are there things you can do to add to the?
Yes, interact with people. So, of course, if you go around and interact with people, just chat on their photos. We have full commenting systems. We're bringing in a new feed in the next couple of months, which will enable you to have similar conversations the same way you can have on Facebook in a feed. That will gain you followers very, very quickly. And then, of course, we also have promotional systems that if people want to like promote their account to get more followers, that is also available. But if you don't want to spend money on gaining followers, interaction is key. Finding content that you like, telling the people underneath those photos that you like that content, 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and have a look at your profile. And if they like what they'll see, they'll follow you. And you'll grow an account very, very fast like that.
Well, selfishly, let me ask you a question. Can you grow your broadcast through your system?
I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I've not tried it, but I don't see why you couldn't do it. We have a lot of people who grow their YouTube channels through it. I haven't seen any podcasters yet, but it doesn't mean there isn't any on the platform. We have people who actually use Amazon affiliate links as well. So if they're promoting a really good quality image and it's taken with a specific camera, they'll mention the camera and then have an Amazon affiliate link underneath. There are people who have Twitter accounts, Instagram account links. So to be honest with you, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work for a podcast.
Well, you're in England now, which let's pivot a little bit. Let me ask you, and again, we're talking small business for a moment. The pandemic has affected small business to a greater extent than I believe large corporations. What do you think businesses can do to to minimize the effects of the pandemic, even as it seems to be waning? What are you doing in England, and what do you suggest for either?
Well, firstly, I think we've got another 2 or 3 years this pandemic, and maybe seeing waning at the moment. We've got 2 or 3 more years. Now, it would be looking at your business model, looking at your clientele, and seeing what you can pivot to or where that you can market to them. So email lists, if you don't have them, get them, because then if you're bringing, of course, there is like thousands and thousands of different businesses. Some will not be able to deal with the pandemic. A bar, for example, or a restaurant. Others which make, I don't know, pencils, for example, and they sell them in shop, can pivot to sell them online, or perhaps find another thing that they can make out of the equipment they've got this. I mean, I've spoken to quite a few small companies over here. I play tennis, and I went to buy a tennis racket the other day at one of the companies that I used to go to. And during the pandemic, of course, no one was playing tennis. So they invested a significant sum in embroidery machines. And they bought 10 CNC 14 color embroidery machines and spent the entire pandemic banging out t-shirts for people. So at this time, I would always make sure that you're liquid. You've got enough liquid capital around to survive for as long as you feasibly can, and look for other opportunities in the market which you know that you could, or at least have an idea that you could simply move to. I mean, jewelry crafting, carpentry, printing, embroidery. Okay, they all require investment, but if you've got that capital there, spend a couple of £1,000s on that equipment, then try and sell it through your existing marketing channels. I think that's what small businesses should be looking at doing right now. And I think they should be preparing for more pandemic. I think we've got another 2 or 3 years of this yet. So just because it seems to be waning at this point in time, although a lot of sources would say otherwise, doesn't mean that we can sit back on our laurels and go, okay, well, it's all back to businesses, back to normal in the next couple of weeks, when we could be hit again in 2 months' time as winter comes and schools reopen. Certainly in the UK, I don't know about the US, but so yeah, look for opportunities, keep yourself liquid. If you can, invest in other areas which are thriving in a pandemic. Making face masks is a prime example.
There was a shortage. Now there's a plethora of them.
Exactly.
Tom Oswald, we have just a few minutes left. What would you like to leave our audience with?
If you're a small business, spend your time on your own business and not social media. We see so many businesses that put so much of their time into social media, which its sole reason is to extract your time and extract your money. It quite often is very detrimental to the business. Likes, views, they're vanity metrics. Money that's coming into your bank account, that's a real metric.
Well, that's a great one. Thank you, Tom. Your website, one more time for our audience.
Clickasnap.com.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us. It's for me been a very illuminating time. You can rest assured I'm going to go out and look at your site in much more depth later on today. Thank you.